Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari. Soranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamnatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhupada Asatars of the Śiśupāla Divine Grace of the A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananda Guru Vaishnava ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Prem Sikha Host Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopīs Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan ki Jai, Shri Maya Prabhupada ki Jai, Ganga Maya ki Jai, Jamuna Maya ki Jai, Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Go Premanandi. All glory some devotees, all glory some devotees, all glory some devotees, all glory Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1. The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Text number 31. Gopya Kamat Bayat Kaṁso Dvesat Chajadayo Nrpa Sambandhad Vrishnaya Snehad Yuyang Bhaktya Vayam Vibho Gopya Kamat Gopya Kamat Bayat Kaṁso Dvesa Chanja Dayo Nrpa Sambandhad Vrishnayad Snehad Yuyang Bhaktya Vayam Vibho Gopya Kamat Bayat Kaṁso Dvesat Chadjan Tayo Nrpa Sambandhad Vrishnaya Snehad Yuyang Bhaktya Vayam Vibho Gopya Kamat Bayat Kaṁso Dvesat Chadja Tayo Nrpa Sambandhad Vrishnaya Snehad Yuyang Bhaktya Vayam Vibho Gopya Kama Bayat Kaṁso Dvaisatjajayuyo Nripa Sambudhad Vishnaya Snehad Yuyang Bhaktya Vayam Vibho Gopya, the gopis, Kamat, out of lusty desires, Bayat, out of fear, Kaṁsa, King Kaṁsa, Dvaisat, out of envy, Chajya, Śiśupāla and others, Nripa, kings, Sambandhat, out of kinship, Vrishnaya, the Vrishnis or the Yadavas, Snehat, out of affection, Yuyam, you the Pāṇḍavas, Bhaktya, by devotional service, Vayam, we, Devo, O great King. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Śrīla Prabhupada ki. My dear King Yudhiṣṭhira, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kṛṣṇa by his fear, Śiśupāla and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pāṇḍavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service, have obtained the mercy of Krishna. Purport. Different persons achieve different types of mukti. Sāyuja, Sālokya, Sārupya, Samipya, and Shashti, according to their own intense desire, which is called bhav. Thus, it is described here that the gopis, by their lusty desires, which were based upon their intense love for Krishna, became the most beloved devotees of the Lord. Although the gopis at Vrindavan expressed their lusty desires in relationship with a paramour, parakiya ras, they actually had no lusty desires. This is significant of spiritual advancement. Their desires appeared lusty, but actually they were not the lusty desires of the material world. Chaitanya Charitamrita compares the desires of the spiritual and material worlds to gold and iron. Both gold and iron are metal, but there is a vast difference in their value. The lusty desires of the gopis for Krishna are compared to gold. The material lusty desires are compared to iron. Kaṁsa and other enemies of Krishna merged into the existence of Brahman. But why should Krishna's friends and devotees have the same position? Krishna's devotees attain the association of the Lord by as his constant companion, either in Vrindavan or in the Vaikuntha planets. Similarly, although Nārada Muni wanders in the three worlds, he has exalted devotion for Lord Narayan, Aishwaryamanam. The Vrishnis and Yadus and the father and mother of Krishna in Vrindavan all have familial relationships with Krishna, Krishna's foster father and mother in Vrindavan, however, are more exalted than Vasudeva and Devaki. Om Jnanatamārandasya Gyananjana Salakya Chakshurumritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Gotavachalang Pangam Langhayate Garim Yat Kripa Tadaham Bande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatibhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is stated, Mukti Hridvan Yatha Rupam Swarupena Vivastati. That real liberation means we get our spiritual body again. And this is the goal. To become purified of our contamination and go back home. I was listening to a class by Kesava Swami. He said there's 5 different worlds. There's the world we live in here. We live in San Diego, here in America, on planet Earth. Then there's the world that we choose. Then there's the inner world. There's the world we want to change. And there's the world that we desire to go to. 5 different worlds. So which do we choose? It was interesting. So, of course, we want to change the world. That's one of our mission statements, is trying to give people Krishna consciousness, which is most needed throughout the world, to distribute books, to preach, distribute prasadam. So many ways we're trying to change the world. We have our inner world. We have our inner world that nobody knows except for us and Krishna. Right? And then we have our destined world. Where do we want to go? Some people want to go to heaven. Millions of people want to go to heaven. Do we want to go to heaven? No, we don't want to go to heaven. Vaikuntha? How about Vaikuntha? How about Goloka Vrindavan? There's a difference. We want to go to Goloka Vrindavan. Of course, that's a very high desire, but possible by the mercy of Krishna. So which world do we choose? It's interesting. He said that we should want to change our inner world so that it's pure. Now it's not pure, so we want to change our inner world so that we're always thinking of Krishna. That's another challenge. Yeah, we want to change the world and our destiny. We want to go back to Krishna, go back to our original position. Wasn't there? I think there was a book, Our Original Position. Yeah. Which is there with Krishna in the spiritual world. But to go there, we have to follow the instructions of Krishna. Many instructions. In the Uddhava Gita, there's a very nice instruction given to Uddhava, which is in relation to this chapter. Akinchinasya dantasya santasya samachetasa maya santusa manasa sarva sukha maya dasha that one who is free of material desires. That's a big challenge. It's like Arjuna, he asked Krishna that how does a saintly person sit, how does he talk, how does he walk, how does different, interesting, how does he sit, how does he walk, how does he talk? Generally we don't hear of that as being a symptom of someone who's elevated, but he asked this. And what did Krishna reply? Prajahati yada kamang sarvam parthamanovid atmanyavatmanatusta stita pragyatarajite. That one who gives up all varieties of sense gratification which arise due to mental concoction, and when his mind is thus satisfied by Krishna consciousness, then he is understood to be elevated. So many material desires will be there, but what is it? It's a mental concoction. It's a mental concoction. Yeah. We get misled by so much concoction, mental concoction. Yeah. The main attraction for the mind is material sense gratification. I was speaking to one guest last night, and he said he had a girlfriend for about 5.5 weeks, and then she left him. And for the past 3 weeks, he's just been suffering. I was like amazed, just 5.5 weeks, and he became so attached, and he's just suffering. So these material desires is the result of trying to satisfy our material desires is we suffer. So better be guided by Krishna. The senses are purified by service to Krishna. By serving Krishna, our mind, our senses, they all get purified. Yeah. So kinchanasya, dantasya, whose senses are controlled. Yeah. Very difficult to control this. The mind is out of control, and therefore the senses are out of control. So someone whose senses are controlled is called dhira. And what's the best example of dhira? Lord Shiva. The demigods wanted Lord Shiva to have a son because they needed someone powerful. So they asked Parvati, go, arouse him, huh? Fire. So she went and she actually touched his genitals, and he wasn't disturbed. It's like inconceivable. Dhira. So that's the example of someone whose senses are controlled. Yeah, because we're not the body. We're the soul. And Lord Shiva is such a great devotee. He's completely he's not his body. He's just completely detached. So as we advance in Krishna consciousness, as we practice Krishna consciousness more and more, we get this realization that we're not American or Russian or Indian or male or female or any of these things. We're the soul within. That's that's just to get to that point is just the ABCs. To get to that reality, then so much more happens in our spiritual journey. Just like we were discussing last night in the class about how they take intoxication. Still, so many people are taking intoxication. It's a major problem. But we're practicing Krishna consciousness, and we're also getting some high, some spiritual high, and therefore we're not attracted to the things of this world. If we get that, huh? Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, it's very expensive. Intoxication now. I can't imagine how expensive it is now. It was expensive, 45 years ago, 50 years ago. What to speak of now? It's like got to make a lot of money to keep that habit going. But one can get this high simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. But one has to hear attentively. Otherwise, we don't get the full benefit of chanting. And that's another challenge. Akinchana Shidantya Santasya, that one who is peaceful. Before I joined the movement, there was one person that I was acquainted with. His name was Shanti. But he was anything but Shanti. He had 3 girlfriends. And was just like, his senses were out of control. I didn't know what Shanti meant back then because I didn't know any Sanskrit words. But then after I joined, oh, Shanti means peaceful, self-control. Anything but. He was anything but. So, as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we become Shanti. We become peaceful, satisfied, just chanting Hare Krishna, serving Krishna. Vaikuntha, we could be in Vaikuntha even though we're here in this world. Just be, peacefully chanting, serving Krishna. But this is another big challenge, controlling the senses. Because the senses are pulling in so many different directions. The eyes want to see so many attractive things, and we want to taste so many things and hear. So fortunately we've been given nice Krishna prasadam. We have nice prasadam, and we have nice music to hear, and nice fragrances to smell, also flowers and incense. So our senses can be satisfied in Krishna consciousness. But the most difficult sense to find satisfaction is the mind. Because the mind wants so many things. But Krishna has given us nice philosophy. You can hear the philosophy. It's very, very attractive. The other day I was distributing books, and this lady, she got a book. And about a half hour later, I turned around and she's sitting and she's reading the book. And I turned around 15 minutes. She was sitting there reading for an hour. It's like, wow, all right. Got the book and then appreciating, continue reading. So this is satisfying to the mind, this philosophy. Akinchana Shidantya Santasya Samacetasa. So Samacetasa means satisfied, or was it equipoise? Yeah. So this chapter is about the Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. So a devotee is equipoise, sees everyone as a soul. Like on book distribution, sometimes you see people that they don't look like they're very, like they'd be very receptive. But you never know. You never know. I mean, I was distributing books one time in the Los Angeles airport, and there's a type of people in the airports that are very difficult to distribute books to, and these are the big businessmen. They come through with these $1,000 suits, and they kind of brush you away. So generally, you wouldn't approach them. But I'm in the airport one day, and there's no one coming except for one person, and this is one of these big businessmen, big guy, all American businessman, expensive suit. And I thought, well, he's spirit soul. Let me try. So I excuse me, sir. He stopped, and I started showing him the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, you won't believe it, I'm completely into this. I mean, everything you just sold me is just wonderful. How much do you want for this book? I was shocked. So you never know. You never know who's going to be receptive to receiving Krishna consciousness. So you have to be equal. Try to see everyone. As spirit soul. So akincinasya dantasya santasya samacetsa maya santusta. Maya santusta means satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. You got to be satisfied in the service of Krishna. Yeah. Sometimes devotees come and they, I was just reading a book by Satyanandana Swami, that it's unfortunate that devotees sometimes they lose interest. They lose interest in Krishna and they go off and become interested in other things. So we don't want that to happen because there's nothing out there but Maya. and Maya's expert. She is so expert making things appear very attractive. But it's what it is. It's Maya. It's just an illusion. So we should actually pray to Krishna that we can be satisfied in the service of Krishna, in devotional service. Otherwise, if we're not satisfied in devotional service, then we'll be attracted again to Maya. So akincinasya dantasya santasya samacesa maya santusa manasa sarva sukha maya dasha. Such a person, wherever this person goes, he'll only find happiness. He'll only find happiness. It's like sometimes people are having a hard time in one place. Oh, I'll go somewhere else, but then their mind goes with them. Right? So they're still not satisfied. And a devotee, it's like Prabhupada said, wherever I go, it's Vrindavan. He creates the atmosphere of Vrindavan because of his pure consciousness. So if we attain this pure consciousness, then wherever we go, we'll find happiness. And this is the nature of the soul. Yeah. Eternality, knowledge, and bliss. Yeah. It's interesting that this is this verse I just chanted, this is also the nature of Krishna. He has no material desires. His senses are controlled. I mean, he's the most controlled. Even Bhishma said, I'm famous as a brahmachari, staunch brahmachari, naishtika brahmachari, but I could not do what Krishna did. Yeah. In playing the flute and so many beautiful, probably the most beautiful women on the planet, no doubt. Inconceivably beautiful. And they're all coming to Krishna in the dead of night. I mean, most men would dream of such a thing. But what does Krishna say? It's late. It's night. So many dangerous animals here. Don't what? Don't be adulterous. Go home. Go home. And the gopis are like, they're limiting. Come on, Krishna, you can't say that, please. And then one of them said, only you can speak like this, Krishna. Only you. Here we are, attractive young girls here, alone with you, and you're telling us to go home. So senses are controlled. And Prabhupada said, you never hear about any illicit activity with Krishna. As it's stated here, the gopis, there was no lust. There was no lust. It appears like they were lusty, but there was not a tinge of lust. And similarly with Krishna, not a tinge, there's no lust, just love. And unfortunately, sometimes the other religions, they go to India and they try to convert the Hindus. Like, oh, what kind of a God is this? He's going out here late at night with these young unmarried girls, and some of them are married. Well, what is this? And because the people, they're also not very knowledgeable about, having no lust, just love, they get diverted. They take to other religions. But they don't know that there's wonderful, loving feelings between a man and a woman with no lust. Spiritual bodies. Krishna has a spiritual body. The gopis had spiritual bodies, completely transcendental, no lust. And as we continue on in Krishna consciousness, this lust within ourselves also dissolves. We become free. Yeah. Imagine how nice that'll be. No lust. It'll be nice. And just like when we were young, before the lust came up, we didn't see the difference between a boy and a girl. Isn't it? 5, 6 years old, just people. They're just people. You have nice relationships, but then after some time you get to be, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old, and the lust kind of can, like, what's that? It's terrible. Exploitative. Trying to enjoy the other. But to have no lust, to just have love for Krishna, something to look forward to, so much to look forward to. We just have to stick strictly to the path. And here, in the last sentence of this verse, Nārada Muni, he says, actually the whole verse is one sentence, actually, so I'll just read it again. My dear King Yudhiṣṭhira, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kaṁsa by his fear, Śiśupāla and others by envy, the Yadus by their familiar relationship with Krishna, you Pāṇḍavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service have obtained the mercy of Krishna. So that's, most people are the general devotees. Yeah. And it's by this devotional service that we receive the mercy of Krishna. It's very interesting that here he mentions Śiśupāla, which is what this chapter is about. He got the mercy of Krishna also. Even Kaṁsa, because he was thinking of Krishna so much. Śiśupāla was thinking of Krishna so much. But the gopis, they're the first ones that are mentioned, because they had this pure, unadulterated love for Krishna. But as he mentions here, most receive this mercy of Krishna by devotional service. And what does it mean? What does devotional service mean? Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana karmanyarama anukuyena Kṛṣṇanu siyanam bhakti uttama. That one should render transcendental loving service unto the Lord favorably without any desire for material profit, through material gain or mental speculation, and free of all this. Yeah, this is pure devotional service. Not an easy attainment, but again, it's possible. So it's 8:30 now. Is there any question or comment? Yes. Javita Prabhu.
Yesterday, Vena came up, and I didn't get a chance to mention about Vena. And he'll come up tomorrow also. And the question was, he's like the exception, you know. I mean, he was blaspheming, and he
battled Vena,
but he didn't get absorption in Krishna. He went to hell.
Yeah.
So the question is, why is that? When Śiśupāla was also blaspheming Krishna, you know. And what I gleaned from a little research and, you know, reviewing a little bit about Vena, he wasn't really meditating on Krishna. No. He was just
a bad guy.
Yeah, persecuting the devotees. That was the thing. And when they came to him, the Brahmins came to him and tried to reform him. You know, said, "This is not good. What you're doing." So what are you talking about? I'm God. You know, you're talking about some other God. I am the God. You know, this is the thing. So he wasn't absorbed in Krishna in enmity or any kind of way. He was just, you know, generally evil.
Yeah.
And so that's the, and then so they killed him with high sounding words, whatever that means, and he didn't get. So that's why the next verse will say, except for Vena, you know, and then it'll give the final thing, because it says, anyone but not who's not Vena, who does this, and then this famous line, Tasmat ke napipayena mana Krishna Niveshya, Prabhupada would quote that one line a lot. Somehow or other, if someone fixes his mind on Krishna, it'd be very beneficial, you know. But the most beneficial is, as you just mentioned, the verse, and that produces the highest level of bliss. I mean, just merging into the body. Okay, you don't get birth again, you know, but that's hellish for a devotee.
Yeah,
you know. And as far as the gopis go, that's explained. I'm telling you, if someone wants to understand exactly how their mentality is, chapter 4, Adi Lila, how they dress themselves and they go and they look like lust, but actually it's all to please Krishna.
Yeah.
Unlike ordinary, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
We went to UCSD yesterday, and I had an interesting encounter. I met, because in UCSD, the school, there's a lot of people from India, and I met one person, and she told me, can you please open Bhagavad Gita and show me the picture of Arjuna? And I said, okay, sure. And I showed it to her, and she was like, you see this Arjuna? I was also born in Kurukshetra, and I'm within the same lineage.
Born in the same village.
No, the same lineage.
Lineage,
yeah, lineage.
Well, then you should be interested in Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. But she I think she ended up taking one. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's that. And I had a question.
She's a descendant of Arjuna.
Descendants of Arjuna in America. And in regards to the purport, I had a question that says that the foster parents of Krishna in Vrindavan are more exalted than Devaki and Vasudeva. And would you please comment on that and say exactly why?
Yeah, because Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj, they just thought of Krishna as their son. And they took care of him like that. Like they she would be concerned that I got to feed him, otherwise, he might die. He's just very. They had this yoga maya, whereas Devaki and Vasudeva, right from the beginning, they saw Krishna's God. He when he appeared, four-arm form. So there was no question. They offered respects and prayers and awe and reverence. So it was a whole different. The mood with Nanda and Yasoda is very sweet, because they had this understanding that Krishna is our son. But with Devaki and Vasudeva, there was great awe and reverence. They understood this is not our son. This is God. So there's very respectful. Yeah.
But Krishna. He appeared as the forearms form, but then he turned into a child.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And then Vasudeva, he brought him back as a child.
Yeah. But still, he knew. Yeah. Although he's got this child body. Still, this is a pastime, but he's God. He understood. Yeah.
There's kind of a mixture there, because he's right. Krishna appeared as form as a baby. It's not, the picture is actually, the painting is not actually accurate. Yes,
it wasn't a big form.
Little baby with the
little baby
little
with forearms.
Yes.
I've never heard that.
We
only see
the picture.
The picture of big Narayan.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you read the Sanskrit, it's there.
Wow.
So and then
baby Krishna with 4 arms.
And then okay, he's God. What do I have to take him away for? But so he had that. Oh, I have to protect him, and for that he broke his promise. Which
Actually, no. Krishna told him, "Take me to Vrindavan." So he didn't break his promise.
Oh, okay.
Krishna instructed him, take me to Vrindavan. So it's not, he had to follow Krishna. That's there. You'll find that.
In the Bhagavatam?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I forget that. But it's also, I remember when, after killing of Kaṁsa, the Krishna and Balaram come to Vasudeva and Devaki, and they're all seeing them as God, you know what I mean? But they didn't like that. They didn't want that, and so they started appealing to them as the sons, and to draw that mood out of them also. So they also have some of that.
Yeah, there was some there.
But you're right. In Vrindavan, it's all that. And I remember that, because sometimes I remember things because of editing. So there's a point where exactly what you say, how Mother Yashoda is in so much anxiety that Krishna is going to harm his feet because he goes, barefoot and all these things. So that, and the editing there was. And then we were absorbed in the mood of material love. I said, should that be material? What is it about material? And I looked up the original transcript, and it was maternal, which is what I thought it should be, maternal. So we fixed it.
It's a big difference.
Robert wrote maternal, and they put material.
Yeah, was it Mother Yashoda wanted to give shoes to Krishna because there's all these thorns, and Krishna said, all right, but if you give me shoes, you got to have shoes for all the cows and calves too. How many cows and calves were there? 900,000. That's a lot of shoes. She said, all right, never mind. Prabhupada Das, yes. Oh, you had a question? Well, okay.
There is one painting of Lord Narayan as a child.
Oh.
It's in that real thick one, and that was all done by the one artist, all the art, and it's very attractive. It's very, very beautiful. They're in the dungeon. And little Vishnu's there, and he's so beautiful and cute the way he was painted.
All right.
It's very, very attractive.
Very good. Thank you.
I was just going to say, in case anyone's listening now online or those here who were here yesterday, because the topic came up about this upcoming documentary, about the Hare Krishnas and the bad things that happened in the 80s in New Vrindavan. And so I guess Jamuna Jivan Prabhu was attending class online yesterday, and then he sent me this message. He said, I wanted to share this information with you about the Peacock Krishna documentary, Peacock being the streaming site. A good friend of mine who personally serves Shyamasundar Das Prabhu stated, I asked Shyamasundar a few days ago if he has spoken to the producer lately, and he said that the producer called him with the expected release date, and that for him to not be alarmed about the series, because by the end they spin things toward the positive. So we'll see, either way, but at least there's that, in case anyone's losing sleep. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I wasn't particularly concerned, but in case anyone is concerned.
The caption, this doesn't sound just a caption. The Krishnas, gurus, and murders. That alone.
Well, yeah, the title Krishna's Guru, Karma, Murder. But it doesn't seem inaccurate, at least given the topic, the way that what they're covering. It does seem like inaccurate. That's what the aspect they're covering is so the murder in New Vrindavan. So, yeah.
Jaya.
But anyway, at least it's not, according to these devotees, it's not supposed to be some kind of hit piece on the Hare Krishnas or Krishna consciousness, but just exposing how the corruption that happened there during that time. So,
yeah, it's just this one person. Like I mentioned yesterday, this person read Monkey on a Stick, which is all about New Vrindavan, the mirrors and everything, and he became a devotee. So they weren't blasting Prabhupada or Krishna. It's just this one person that kind of went off, which is kind of that they're even doing something. You can't imagine something like that happen with the Christian movement. Christians, Christians, priest, and murder.
Actually,
but, that happens. I'm sure there's Christians that go out and do wild things, but you wouldn't see that.
Well, Devil's Advocate, they actually have had some very successful documentaries recently against Christian groups and
Also.
other groups for the corruption and another. So I guess so someone was saying that, someone made a comment that with this documentary, that they're carrying on the momentum from these other successful documentaries exposing other. So then what other groups can we find, some bad things they've done too. So maybe it's just becoming a genre of film.
Oh, okay. So they are doing that. All right.
Maybe it'll make people shape up. We'll see.
Let's see. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah.